So we will practice more time, then we can do this in a more natural way.
Yes, it's not a big deal, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to let me explain my question. So I also experienced that now. Like I didn't have a lot of experience teaching people, but I have a lot of experience teaching myself. Like I think it's kind of interesting because teaching yourself, um, you really need to find out the best way to teach because you don't have obligation. Yeah, you don't have
Yes.
really nobody force you to do um, when you really want to improve yourself. Yeah, it comes back to what you believe and what kind of life you want and what kind of person you want to be. So for you, like how do you like you have a long-term self-improvement method, you have your philosophy, and you have maybe some kind of drills. You do it like every day, every month, something like that. Do you have this kind of
You say kind of what?
drills, like when you play basketball, you go every time you do shooting like this, and like routine, some kind of routine practice. Yeah.
Well, I can't say I'm not. I'm that kind of person. I think uh, for me, my learning process are always. Um, I would say I'm not a really hardworking person, but if I want to learn something, it must be something that I'm really interested in. So it will be just natural. You just, for example, this is a little thing. For example, lately I was very much into cowboy boots, and since it's not very easy to get a pair here, um, and I don't really know about it before. I found myself watched a lot of information uh, during a very short time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm an expert now, but it's very natural for person like me, for people like me to get into something quickly just because you're really interested in it and you can't help but looking for every information you can find, and you just build your knowledge. Not to mention that you can get almost all kind of information today, right? It's even easier today.
Mm-hmm. Information. Yes. Today, I think it's almost like a trend. Yeah. Um, the way we learn, the way we live, the way we create business. Everything has a different kind of um, uh, different variety if you want. Um, so, like for you, I still would like to know more about like other than something interests you. Yeah, like it sounds. It can be. It will be random. Yeah, like if you just go for anything, oh, you might be interested, and then maybe after a period of time you lose your interest. But for you, especially like you have your own personal principles, you have certain philosophy, and you have certain method, learning method. You probably continue developing that.
Um, that's a good question.
It's like a three questions, so you don't have to answer all, but you can slowly, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. For example, like I understand you are interested in music, yeah,
yes.
and the way you learn how to play music by yourself. You also compose music, and you also um, have certain understanding of different kind of music. So that would basically we'll talk more in other episode. But like when you try to learn, when you try to tell the difference, like you have something there, so you make choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm, again, I, I don't think it's really something different from other people, but um, I would say to continually um, get in touch with something might be really the key. Like, I always think that learning is like snowball. How do you get a really big snowball? You start from a small one, right?
You expect you expect a really severe storm, so you get those hell like those ice ball
Yeah,
today when the rain is like this big. In the past it was like this, yeah.
yeah,
Now it's like so you can probably get a snowball like from the nature just like that, just keep it like
yes, yes. But you know what I mean? I mean the traditional way. How do you get a really big one?
artificial. Yes.
Yes, you start a small one, right? And then you roll it on the snow. By doing this, the snow will stick to, uh, should I say each other? Stick to themselves. So it becomes bigger and bigger. So
Mhm.
I think the one of the interesting thing in learning is every piece of knowledge that you learn should help you to learn more. Like they are um, they will attract each other naturally. Right? If you let it happen, it just attract themselves one by one, and then you just get this big snowball someday. So yeah, I think the trick is let your knowledge to attract new knowledge, make them become one, and then yeah, you just repeat this process, and then naturally you'll find yourself really know a lot about something someday. For me, yeah, music is like this. At first, just like anyone, I don't know a thing. But when I learn one thing, for example, when I learn um um sorry um for example, at first you might just learn to play um, like me, I learned to play guitar in the very first place.
Mm-hmm.
And by learning music, I get to know that I can learn any instrument in a basic, depends on, no, not depends on, based on the very common knowledge of how you learn guitar. Okay, so if you know you're not just learn this specific instrument, you can see the really basic of your learning, your in this case it's the basic of music, right? It's the basic of music. If you know about that, if you don't just copy those textbook, copy your teacher, they tell you how to do that, and you just do that. You don't think about it. If you don't just do that, you will know for every instrument they have some certain thing in common. So if you learn that common thing, you can learn every instrument very quickly.
Okay, so you are talking about some kind of um, okay. This is a way you build some kind of system. You understand the system, and then you find the common ground. Then you build from there. Yeah. Um, so you can save your time. You can make more efficient learning process. Okay. So I yeah, you just mentioned that. So I think that is something where it can be a little bit tricky for the knowledge you have never in touch before. For example, when I first learned English. So I have this question I would like to ask you later. Okay?
Sure.